you just have to look at Senator Murkowski and the statement that she released, which is just astounding, really. She votes for the bill, and then she talks about how it's a rushed process, artificial deadline. It's not ready. The bill is not ready for the president's signature. Right. So she could have stopped it.
She had a choice.
She had a choice. She herself, with nobody else's help, because the other votes were in, she could have stopped the bill from going to the president's desk. She says it wasn't ready, yet she voted to send it on. So that tells you a lot about what's eventually going to happen.
And the idea that Murkowski is relying on House Republicans to say, oh, actually, we have found so many problems that we're going to stop this train and actually do the thoughtful work of legislating in a way that more of us can be proud of, I think is just a complete falsehood and a misreading of the way that Washington works. And I think that ultimately the senator knows that.
I have another rant I can do if you're in the mood for it. Okay, here, let's try this one. Lisa effing Murkowski. What the hell is wrong with you? And why do you not leave the Senate and go hide in a cabin somewhere in Juneau, Alaska, or wherever the hell you actually specifically come from? Go to, is it Wasilla? Is that the place that Sarah Palin's from? Go hang out with her because you're as bad as her. And essentially what I want everybody here to know, because I'm tired of hearing it, and my God, I held on to this for a while too. I tried. We all try. It's like Aaron Sorkin disease. There are some reasonable Republicans. There are no reasonable Republicans. They don't exist. They are an extinct species because it comes right down to it. They will do the wrong damn thing every time. It's amazing how every time when they vote for one of the worst freaking shittiest bills in the world, it'll end up being like a 50-50 tie and they break the tie, or 51-49, or in the Supreme Court, 5-4. Which, now they stuffed it enough that they often get 6-3. Joe Walsh just wrote, a friend of mine, of course, and someone, one of the few people who actually really has changed and has shown me that it is possible for people to change. And he lost his radio show and other stuff by doing it. So he went against his financial interests. But he wrote a piece about Tom Tillis and how Tom Tillis once, Tom Tillis basically said, this is an utter crap bill. It's going to destroy my state by taking away Medicaid from so many people. It's going to kill people.
The tax cuts would give the wealthiest households a $12,000 annual increase, but would cost the poorest people $1,600 a year. $1,600 a year. The CBO also estimates 11.8 million more Americans would be uninsured by 2034 if the bill becomes law, and that 3 million more will not qualify for food stamps, also known as those SNAP.
To kill people, as I've said the other day when I was on with Matt Robeson, we're going to use the language of honesty here. We're not going to euphemism it like the New York Times. They're choosing ahead of time. They're murdering people. That's what they're doing. They're saying, Elon Musk needs to extend his 125-foot yacht by 50 more feet. So we need to give him the money to do that. Let's kick a couple thousand people off of Medicaid. Let's take food away from starving kids in school and let them die. That's their response to these things going on. Well, Tom Tillis stood up and said, okay, I'm not going to vote for that. And then Trump said, well, then we're going to primary you. And then Tom Tillis said, well, okay, then I'm not going to run for re-election. Goodbye. Now, on the surface, that sounds great. Wonderful. There's an open seat in North Carolina. That's going to be tougher for the Republicans. Tom Tillis, you're like, well, he stood up for what he believed in. But why is it that these guys can only stand up for what they fucking believe in when they have no more political risk? Why can't they take a political risk? I hate giving credit where credit is due, but the only person I can think of right now that did that is Liz Cheney, who I hated with a passion of 1,000 suns for Iraq and everything else. And I'll still never forgive her for Iraq, but I will give credit where credit's due. She voted for impeachment. She stood up and then she ran for re-election. She didn't just say, I'm walking away. So she did it, took a risk to her political career, and it ended. But these people, I think of Jeff Flake, not doing anything till he was gone, Tom Tillis now and Bob Corcoran. It's amazing all these people who, once they're gone, are willing to speak out against Trump. But the lack of courage, I've run out of ways. I need to get a book of synonyms for coward, spineless, weak, wobbly, gelatin-like. It's pathetic. So that's Tom Tillis. He's like, oh, well, there's no more risk to my power. Well, Lisa Murkowski, who's pretending to be a decent person all the time, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like in the end, hey, let's see what old Lisa has to say. Take a look at that. That's the look on her face when the press came up to her and started asking questions. Is that the face of somebody who's confident in the vote they just took? Is that somebody who knows the indecency that she just performed in this vote? Lisa Murkowski, who again was like, oh, I mean, I think she, if I remember correctly, voted against Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, she wanted to, play both sides. She even was musing a week ago about becoming a Democrat. Go away. You're a horrible person. You're MAGA. I don't care what you call yourself. And what she said in that video was, oh, well, I had to do what was right for Alaska, this for Alaska. And what she did was just she made sure that Medicaid payments actually went up in Alaska. And she made sure that they didn't have any of these cuts, but the rest of us have them. Is she a U.S. senator? I know she's from Alaska, but I believe U.S. senator is that name. So she chose to condemn kids to starvation. She chose to condemn people without health care to death. She chose to do all of that to protect her state so she can get reelected. You're just as bad as the rest of them. You suck. And the fact that I ever gave Lisa Murkowski any credit, the fact that I ever said, oh, well, she seems like she's one of the few decent ones. Maybe she'll become an independent or whatever. This vote is so horrific that Alaska, what? Were there 14 people and a few moose there? I mean, sorry, if you're from Alaska, it's a beautiful state. But you get my point. She leaves the rest of this country out. And when she's like, well, I had to protect my state. You didn't have to do anything. You were the fucking 50th vote, you moron. They already had Rand Paul voting against it. They already had Tom Tillis. They even had Frowny McFace, Susan Collins voting against it. So I didn't major in math like I'm sure you did, Lisa. The kind of math that was like, hey, my dad, Frank Murkowski, is appointing me to be a U.S. senator. I'm a Nepo baby. So now I can run for re-election and have the name Murkowski in Alaska, in a state that has 14 people and a bunch of moose forever. Well, guess what? It's 49 votes without you. You could have done a hell of a lot more. Hell, you could have banded together with a few of the other ones and said you would vote for it if they changed A, B, C, and D. You could have held out and they wouldn't have had the 50 votes. Instead, you screwed us all. You traded us all in so that for your state. And if you think, I think for a minute you did that because you care about the people of your state. Well, I care about Alaskans, just not the rest of America. No, you don't care about anybody. You care about re-election. You care about your importance. You care about your first class flights and your nice little gigs you get to go on that are paid for with our taxpayer money. That's what you care about, because if you care about people, there's no way you would vote for this. Telling you should be ashamed. I don't tell people they should be ashamed. They have to have shame. You have condemned people to death. Your vote, Mrs. Decency, the one that has you looking like that with that on your face. How when you make Susan Collins look good, you've done something wrong. These days, when you make John Fetterman look good, you've also done something wrong. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. People of Alaska, do not send this person back. I am hoping, this bill is underwater. Like, I think in 2026, she's up for re-election. Now is the time to start. Democratic Party, don't pull this crap where you start 6 months ahead of time. Get somebody now. Get somebody to stand up and talk about how many people that she has destroyed with this vote around the country, how she's Trumped. I mean, yeah, you can't talk about people she destroyed in Alaska, but maybe people in Alaska actually have relatives and care about people around the country who are going to die now. Maybe people in Alaska care about her voting for her supporting her president right now, whose approval ratings in the crap, or a guy that people see accepting $500 million plane bribes, and sending around masked fascists to rip people out of their fourth grade classrooms. Maybe people care about that. But start the damn campaign now. She's not decent. She is not honorable. She's not worthy of the U.S. Senate. Taking this vote is just about the most despicable thing you could ever do. So I'll say it one more time. You suck, Lisa Murkowski. Don't try to fool anybody again that you have any decency. You're MAGA.